Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Today is the 4th of September, and we're kind of stretching out at the last part of summer here. It's still quite warm, around 33 degrees or 34 degrees, I think, today where I live, and it's about getting maybe high 80s, low 90s, that kind of temperature. We just had a big typhoon that came through Japan, and somehow it skirted the area where I live, so all we got was a little bit of rain, but if you see in the news, it was quite severe in certain parts of Japan. It's passed now, and but of course we are getting into the typhoon season. Predominantly September and October is the time when typhoons tend to hit, so we will wait and see. Okay, well, today we're going to look at a beer which is a collaboration brew between two breweries, one in Osaka, Japan, and one in Canada, Toronto, Canada. And the breweries in question are Minoh and Godspeed. And the beer is this one. It is called Regal Lager. And you can see the logos here for Minoh Beer and here for Godspeed. And very quickly, a little bit about, well, maybe quickly, a little bit about the two breweries. Minoh Beer is a kind of, I guess we could call it one of the legacy craft beer brewers in Japan. They were founded in 1996 and started producing beer from 1997, formerly known as AJI Beer, AJI, and in fact that is still on their official company name, but now they're known as Minoh Beer, and they're located in the city of Minoh, which is just north of Osaka, kind of where the concrete meets the forest, so it's a pleasant little town to the north of Osaka, and Minoh Beer has been located there since they started. They started out with a brewery, and they've since moved to another brewing location. And they also have a place called the Warehouse, where you can apparently try most of their beers. And they have a bar called Beer Belly, and that is in Tenmabashi, near Tenmabashi Station, which is on the loop line that goes around Osaka, the Kanjo-sen, a kind of circular line. If you're familiar with Tokyo, you know the Yamanote line, which goes around a circle. Osaka also has a loop line, and it's a little bit smaller than Tokyo's, but in any case, Tenmabashi Station, a short walk from there. And they used to have Beer Belly, their original location in Tosabori, but they decided to close it, unfortunately. I was in there in February, I believe, and I ran into a man who has been working with them since the beginning. In fact, I believe he's married to one of the sisters, the Oshita sisters. I'm getting ahead of myself here. In any case, it was founded by a man named Oshita Masaji, and he's known as the godfather of craft beer, certainly in the Kansai area. And he was working in the liquor distributing business, and he bought the brewery for his three daughters to run. And he built it up for them. They had no brewing experience, and so consequently their production was kind of hit and miss in the early years, but they found their footing, and they're making great beer now, certainly. Three daughters. The kind of figurehead is the oldest one, and her name is Oshita Kaori, and she appears everywhere, beer festivals throughout Japan. I think I read in an interview she goes to over 100 beer festivals or beer events per year, so she's very, very busy, and she was the only brewer there for a while, which led to some problems when they started getting more popular. And since they've hired on more, and so they've gotten a lot better, certainly. And they make a whole variety of beers. They're quite well known for using local produce, local ingredients, things like yuzu, sancho, things like that in their beers. So they're quite a successful brewery. Now, let's get on to the other brewery, which is Godspeed, this one. And Godspeed is located in Toronto. They were founded in 2017. They're best known for making Czech-style lagers and also for using Japanese ingredients in their beers, things like yuzu. But primarily they're famous for Czech-style, German-style lagers. And the Japanese connection comes through the brewer Luc Lafontaine, who worked at Dieu de Ciel in Canada, and then he moved to Japan in 2011, and he established Ushitora Brewery and became quite an influential brewer. Some brewers, for example, Yoroko, learned a lot from him. And he moved back to Toronto and established the Godspeed Brewery. As you can see, Godspeed, I think, I'm not quite sure, but I think the name might comes from Godspeed You Black Emperor, which has two references. One is a Montreal band, and the other is a 1976 Japanese documentary about Bosozoku, which refers to motorcycle gangs. And someone, a commenter on my channel, said that the ship immediately brought to mind to him the ship that brought over some of the earliest pilgrims to North America. Their ship was called Godspeed. And of course we have the phrase in English, Godspeed be with you. May your journey be safe and swift. He has become quite influential, I guess, in Canada as well, and he's done a lot of collaborations, and most notably with Hill Farmstead in Vermont. Okay, so that's enough about the breweries here. Let's get on to the beer, and it's called Regal Lager, and you may notice something here about the words lager and regal. Yes? Okay, let's count to 5. What do you notice about these two words, regal and lager? These words form, the word is a palindrome. It reads the same front and back, frontwards and backwards, regal and lager. And this was brewed in March of 2024 with Godspeed, and it contains Pilsner malt and apparently 30% wheat malt, and it uses Czech hops. And this beer is 5% by alcohol by volume, and it contains 28 international bittering units. I paid 533 yen for it where I bought it, and that would come out to, in current terms, $3.39 in US dollars, and in euros, if you're counting that way, €3.32. Okay, so should we get on to the beer? Again, Regal Lager from Godspeed and Minoh. And here, I'll show you a picture of the Minoh bottle cap. There are monkeys. Minoh is also famous for having monkeys in the mountains outside of town. And usually collaboration, they tend to do something unusual. Here, these brewers have gone for a pretty much straightforward lager. Minoh is not especially known for their lager. They do make a Pilsner. Godspeed is well known for their lagers. Okay, what do we got? Okay, it is kind of pale, very pale straw color. Carbonation, you can see rising up. And a kind of thin half finger of sort of frothy foam. All right, aroma. Okay, I do get the Czech hops right away. Not terribly strong. Okay. But certainly grassy, a little bit skunky, stinky. I'm not sure if they use Zatz hops or not, but I get the kind of sense that they are using that one, which gives the kind of stinky, skunky sort of aroma. Pilsner Urquell is the prime example of that. I think they may be using something different. Czech has other hops, certainly Premiant hops are another one. Wonder what they use. It does have a nice kind of fresh, crisp sort of grassiness. Okay. I definitely get the sense of a Pilsner kind of malt here. 30% wheat. Okay. That would probably account for the kind of sweetness here. Light bitterness, 28 IBUs, but just about right. Wow, this would stand up with certainly a lot of things you might get in Czechoslovakia, I think. Yeah, it's got the nice roundness of the Pilsner malt initially. The bittering comes in, not heavy, but sort of takes over, and then it does blend very nicely in the finish. Wow, this is great. Yeah, they really got this one quite right. And I think probably the influence of Godspeed certainly is strong here. Again, Minoh is not primarily known for lager styles. Yeah, well, I have to say this is a beer I can recommend. If you happen to see this, you certainly want to try it. Yeah, any time of the year. But this is certainly a great summer beer. Sits just right on the tongue. Just goes through the nice flavor changes of the sweet initial maltiness to the gentle bitterness, and floats away with very, very light bitter tracks in the finish. Yeah. Wow. Well, again, here's a palindromic name for you, Regal Lager, and it looks like what we're seeing is a certain kind of plain card here, king holding a nice beer. Kind of looks like Donald Trump, but in any case, this is one you want to try if you happen to see it. I think I found this in a Yamaya liquor store. You may want to try to find that if you have a Yama in your area, give it a go. Okay, please do try. Once again, Minoh and Godspeed Brewing Regal Lager, 5%, 28 IBUs. So give that a go. Stay cool, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye bye.